Janice is dealing out 2 brand new decks of cards. Here comes a new challenger on Card Sharks. Karen Johnson. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Won't you tell us about you?
Be glad to. My name is Karen Johnson, and I'm originally from Port Arthur, Texas. Some Texans
You can
out
applaud
there?
Port Arthur, Texas. Absolutely.
I worked for 7 years in West Germany as a recreation director for the U.S. Army, and a year ago I moved to El Paso, Texas, where I take care of my husband Mike and our 2 beautiful little boys, Peter and Matthew.
Well, that's very good. What was it like working overseas?
Great. Loved it. Took people on tours to Rome, Paris, London.
What was your favorite city you visited?
Salzburg.
Salzburg, Germany?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Salzburg,
Austria.
That's right, Austria. Yeah, well, it's very pretty there. Nice
Love
to have
it.
you here.
Thank you.
You cut the cards?
Yes, I did.
All right. You know Ed, of course.
I have met.
All right. They'll shake hands and ready to come out fighting as we start with a question to Ed the champion. Ed, we asked 100 married men. Have you ever opened up a copy of Playboy and thought, why can't my wife look like that? How many men have opened a copy of Playboy and thought, why can't my wife look like that?
Well, I've opened up a copy of Playboy, and I thought that my wife does look like that, and most guys, if they're...
Good for you, Ed.
I know she's listening to me, so... And most guys feel if they don't look that way, they'll get it anyhow. I'd say 45.
45 out of 100 have opened up Playboy and said, why can't my wife look like that, Karen?
I think a lot of men may think that. However, when they're answering the question, I think they would have thought, I'm pretty happy with what I've got. So I think it's going to be even lower.
Even lower than 45. I don't think my wife would look good with a stapled in her navel. I really don't think so. 45 for Ed, lower for Karen. The actual number of men who've opened a copy of Playboy and thought, why can't my wife look like that, is 41. You're right, Karen, it is lower. It is indeed lower. And Karen starts off the match with a queen.
Lady Luck, lower.
Lower than the queen. Yes, an 8. On the middle card, the challenger takes a 1-card advantage. Karen, excuse me. Makes me very nervous when I read all this money. Marlon Brando was paid over $3 million for just 12 days' work in the movie Superman. That's a fact. So we asked 100 people, do you think Hollywood superstars are overpaid? How many people think Hollywood superstars are overpaid?
I think the majority of people are going to be very definite about that and say yes. We're all out there laboring away for 9, 10, 12 hours a day and making very little money.
Right.
Okay, 6, 7, for much less money. So I think a lot of people are going to say far too much money. 85.
85 out of 100 say the Hollywood superstars are overpaid, Ed.
Well, I can honestly say Scope and I had a line for that. The borderline between genius and insanity registers on a hair. You've got to be a genius or a lunatic to be a superstar. Therefore, they're entitled to what they can get, and I say only 40. Oh, what did you say?
She said 85.
I say lower.
Lower, so you don't have to read a number. You have the advantage. You can just say higher or lower.
Definitely.
Johnny Carson is glad you said that, Ed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The actual number of people who think Hollywood superstars are overpaid is 89, not lower, even more. Karen has it.
I'm astounded.
Ed is astounded, but Karen is playing the cards. You have an 8.
Change it, please.
You can get rid of it. You won the question. A 10 is a little better.
Lower.
Lower than a 10. No, another 10 comes up. Ed, a break for you and a free chance at a 3.
Shall we go up, sir?
Up, he says. Up it
Shall
is,
we
the
go
jack.
down, sir?
Lower. A 2.
Shall we go up?
Higher than a 2. A 5.
Shall we go up?
Trying to go all the way. No. And the last card fails the champion all the way back to the base card. Janice has a lot of spaces to fill in, and the question goes to you, Ed.
Very well.
Ed, we found 100 house husbands. These are all men who stay home and take care of the house and kids while their wife works. And we asked them, have you ever bought anything from the Avon lady? How many house husbands said they have bought something from the Avon lady?
I can honestly answer that, seeing as how at one time I was a house husband. And the Avon lady came to the door, and she was I was so non-resistant to her sales pressure. I bought combs that my wife don't use, and I bought various and sundry things. If she had baby bottles, I'd have bought them too. 65.
65 out of 100 house husbands followed Ed's example and bought something from the Avon lady. Karen?
Jim, I don't think husbands are into makeup and Avon-type products, so I think that number is going to be far lower than his 65.
You say lower, and the audience agrees. The actual number of house husbands who've bought something from the Avon lady is 27. It is far lower. Karen, you have it. And Karen, you have a 10.
I'd like to try another one.
Let's see if we can improve on the 10. Oh, a 7. Not a good
I'll
change.
have to go up.
Higher than a 7. No, 4 is not higher. Ed again gets a break and a free chance to call. Going up 3. Going up, he says, no. And a good card fails the champion again. Janice will fill in the spaces. Sudden death staring us in the face, and one player needs 4 cards, the other needs 3. Boy, the next question is going to be very important. We'll get to it after this. Looking at the board, Ed has a great base card at 3, but he needs 4 cards. Karen needs only 3 cards, but her base card is near the middle with a 7. So someone's going to have a long way to go as we're faced with sudden death in game 1. Karen, we asked 100 doctors. Should football players be allowed to take pep pills before a game? How many doctors said football players should be allowed to take pep pills before a game?
I think doctors are going to say they shouldn't because they know the natural functionings of a body, and I think they're going to say your own body should pep you up for a game. So
How many
I
say they should?
19.
19 out of 100 say they should be allowed to take pep pills, Ed.
Well, doctors, as a rule, try to adhere to the laws and the covenants of the law. And the law specifically says, no to pep pills. I will say lower.
Lower than that. This will decide control and sudden death. The actual number of doctors who said football players should be allowed to take pep pills before a game is 2. That's all. Ed has it very low. Yeah, those things can be dangerous. Ed, you can play it or pass it. You're already pointing. Karen, you've got a long way to go. You need them all. With a 7, what do you say? Higher than a 7. A yes with a 9.
That's a tough one. Lower.
Lower than a 9. No, a jack is not. Ed has control and wins it in sudden death. Game 1 to the champion. Yeah, it looked like whoever got control of that board was going to win that one. So it's game 1 to the champion, and now we will clear the board and set up with the same 2 decks of cards. Janice deals off the next cards off the top of your deck, and we'll start game 2 with a question to you, Ed.
Okay.
Ed, we found 100 men who are exactly 40 years old, and we asked them, would you want to date a woman as old as you are? How many 40-year-old men would date a 40-year-old woman?
Well, I can honestly say at 40 years, you haven't even reached the prime of life, and a woman at 40 hasn't even sprouted her wings yet. Therefore, I'd say 70.
70 out of 100 40-year-old men would date a 40-year-old woman, Karen.
Oh, Jim, I think it's going to be still higher because they want a woman with experience. And if they're 40, they know a woman of 40 is going to be just as good or better. Higher.
All right. Sticking up for the 40-year-old men and women. The actual number of 40-year-old men who date a woman their age is 66. Not higher. It's a little lower. You don't have it, Karen. Ed does. Karen thought for a moment she said lower. No, she said higher, and it means that Ed starts off with an ace.
Coming down.
Lower. A 4.
Going up.
Higher than a 4. A 10.
Coming down.
Risking it lower. No.
I was pushing it.
He was pushing it. He went 1 card too far, and Karen has a free chance at a 4.
Higher.
Higher than the 4. A 7.
Freeze.
And as we move over the freeze bar, Karen comes out on top in that exchange. We'll be back with these nice folks right after this. That's all the time we have for now. We have some nice folks who join us in the studio audience from Poke Hill, Oregon, and all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Card Sharks. Happy holiday.
A representative of the studio audience will receive Men's Combination Quartz Analog Watch LCD alarm features, displays even another time zone, a continuous readout of seconds and date, in a carrot-clad case with matching bracelet furnished by Jules Jurgensen. And some of our contestants will receive a cosmetic bag, a Nestle Egyptian henna for beautiful hair. Deep conditioning improves texture and body. Nestle Egyptian henna, nature's way to beautiful hair. Placemats and Swift Premium Franks made with high-quality cuts of meat backed by the Swift traditional quality that taste kids love. A casserole and Popeyes. Fun, delicious, perfect freeze at home treat. 12 bars and assorted flavors. Treat your youngsters with refreshing Popeyes. A hibachi and take a break from dishwashing with Chinette disposable tableware. Chinette plates, platters, and bowls combine super strength with the look of fine china. A dark game from Gator Gum when your mouth gets dry. Try Gator Gum. The flavor is more than just a gum. Air conditioning by Air Temp. A full line of rotary powered efficient units engineered especially to cool your corner of the world from Air Temp.
Thank you.
Bill Todman production.